The goal of the game is to convert as many of the opponent's cards to your beliefs as possible. This is done by assembling the team with the highest preach power each round. The losing team is converted and placed in the believer pile of the player who won the round. When all cards have been played, the player who has the most believer points in their believer pile wins the game. The setup of the game begins by each player choosing one of the decks. Shuffle each deck and place in front of each player to form a draw pile. Draw 6 cards. The game is played in rounds. You choose a card and place it face down on the table. You may change the card until you draw. Once both players have drawn a card, turn the cards face up. Do this a total of 3 times. When the cards are turned face up for the 3rd time, the round is finished. Add together the preach power of the cards played. 11 plus 7 plus 4 is 22. 12 plus 9 plus 3 is 24. The player with the higher preach power wins the round. They place their cards in their discard pile and their opponent's cards in their own believer pile. A new round is then started, and the process is repeated until all cards have been played. On the last 2 rounds, there will be no more draw pile. Once you place a card face down, it cannot be changed. Turn the cards face up as soon as both players have placed their card. If you play a Prophet King during a round, you win that round. If you play a Skeptic during a round, you lose that round. If one player plays Prophet King and the other a Skeptic, the player who played the Skeptic wins the round. A player cannot play a Prophet King and a Skeptic in the same round. If both players play a Prophet King, ignore the Prophet King and add up the preach power of the other cards to determine the winner of the round. I played 4 and 1, which is 5. My opponent played 12 and 9, which is 21, so they win the round. If both players play a Skeptic, ignore the Skeptics and add up the other preach powers to determine the winner. 5, 21. If, on the last round, you have to play both a Skeptic and a Prophet King, you lose the round, but the Skeptic goes in your believer pile. If a round ends in a tie, set the cards aside. The winner of the next round converts their opponent's cards from both rounds. If the next round is also a tie, set those cards aside too. Continue this pattern until someone wins a round. They convert all of their opponent's set-aside cards. If the last round ends on a tie, those cards are all discarded, including any that are set aside from previous rounds. Each Faithful Citizen card has a special ability. If you win a round using a Faithful Citizen, their ability goes into effect at the beginning of the next round.